Greetings to everybody. Welcome to another Q&A meeting where we can discuss the Dhamma practice taught by the Buddha. If you have any questions, now is the time to let me know. Please send in your question one at a time. Please let me know how's the audio and video is working today. And if this is your first time, please let me know where you come from. I shall start reading your comment and question. Kimbun Chu, Satu Satu. Bilim Suki Hontu Thanajan, Satu Satu. David Silananda, Satu Satu. Odi Aha, Satu. Utai Sukdi, Satu. Bilim, sound okay, thank you. Enilam, Satu. EOSC, Satu. Nampid, Satu. Christina Chia, Namo Buddhaya, Sukhi Hotu Ajahn. Thank you. Champu MTR, Satu. V Pai Son, Satu. Bilim, Thanajan, can an Arahant commit suicide? No need to commit suicide because the cause suicide is unbearable mental suffering, and an Arahant is without any type of suffering in his mind. So there is no need to commit suicide. No matter whatever happened to the body, it cannot cause any suffering to the mind of an Arahant. An Arahant always remains blissful, supreme bliss all the time. So there's no reason why an Arahant should commit suicide. People commit suicide because they are unbearably unhappy or suffering, and they don't know how to get rid of it. With an Arahant, with every noble disciple, there will be no suicide in their mind whatsoever. They are happy to let go of the body, but if the body still remains, they are happy to live with the body regardless of the condition of the body. Terry Shi, good afternoon. Ajahn Suchart, the audio and video feed is okay. Thank you. Fung Lai, Satu. NG Eddie, Satu. Kwan Patum Napa, Satu. Pante Varapanyo. If a monk spends every day breaking every offense in the precept outside of breaking the Palachika, what is the status of that monk? Thank you. Well, he's no longer a monk if he cannot keep the precept, regardless of what type of precept. The goal is to keep all the precept, only breaking it when it's done unknowingly, unintentionally. But otherwise, if someone who keeps breaking the precept every day, he is then no longer a monk inside. He might look like a monk with the appearance of a monk, but the quality of being a monk is not there anymore. So he's just a fake monk. Kenneth Tankiบอก Greeting Ajahn, may you be well and happy. You're welcome. Lam Choi Lin, Satu Satu. Terry Shi, dear Ajahn, I have just started meditation. I have severe left shoulder pain and neck pain even without meditation. With meditation, the pain further becomes exceedingly gross and intense to the extent of the sensation of intense tearing and of splitting of the muscle. This has been an impediment to my wish to meditate properly and longer. I have been seeking different kinds of tradition treatment, but to no end to the pain problem. I recently noticed that the further pain might be due to my poor sitting posture, slouching almost immediately after sitting for 3 minutes, and how my hands are placed when I am in half lotus sitting posture, although be it hunched, slouching. Should I adjust myself the moment I notice the slouch and the hands to be placed with only the right on top of the left and on the ankle? Grateful thanks to Ajahn Suchart for your kind guidance. May you have a long, healthy, well, and happy life. Bhante, sadhu, sadhu. When you meditate, you have to ignore the position, the postures of the body. Don't pay any attention. Focus on your meditation object only. Even if the pain arises, just ignore the pain. If you can concentrate on your meditation object, you will be able to live with the pain without having any reaction to it, any negative reaction to it. So when you meditate, just focus on your meditation object only. Don't give attention, don't pay attention to anything else that might come up. The thought of your body, posture, or the pain of the body, or whatever. Just disregard, ignore everything. Or else, if you don't, you will not succeed in your meditation. If you ignore, you will succeed. And you will advance in your practice, even though the body might not be in a good condition. So try to ignore the body condition when you meditate. Just keep focusing on your meditation object only. This is the only way to deal with your physical impediment, your physical condition. Shiva A. Namaste Ajahn. Thank you. Andy Koe, Satu Satu. Bilim, Satu Satu Tan Ajahn. Chukmi, Satu Satu. Hemlata. Ajahn, when I practice meditation or reciting mantra for more time, I start to fear of things like lizard, my shadow. That's because you're not really reciting the mantra or focus on your meditation object. If you do, then this thing cannot come up. These thoughts cannot come up. If they come up, you can ignore them. So try to ignore your thoughts when you meditate. You want to stop thinking. You want to focus your mind to become one, to become still by focusing on your meditation object, such as a mantra. So keep reciting the mantra and don't worry about what you think. Prangsa JW Namasagan Prajan Chanyanit Chayanit Yamada. Good morning, Prajan. Good morning to you. Eli Hassan, good day, Tanajan. Sound also video clear. Thank you. Terence T.H. Lee, thanks to Tanajan for your time in teaching the Dhamma. You're welcome. Fat Choi Chong, Satu Satu. Shiva A. Dear Ajahn, I am back on Facebook after a long time. Been practicing most of the time. Thank you for sharing Dhamma. You're welcome and welcome back. James Song, greetings Ajahn. Greetings to you. Terry Shi, thanks very much Ajahn. With Metta and Karuna, you're welcome. Adeline Chin, good afternoon Tanajan. Good afternoon to you. Chuboy Lo, Satu Satu. NWE, Satu Satu. Dicha Pusa Sansi, Pusa, I'm sorry. Pusansi, Nicha, Satu Ajahn. Hasana, greeting from the mountain. The audio and video are clear. I am continuing, keeping on mindfulness, meditation, and wisdom. I do walking at night time and early in the morning more. Very good. Keep practice more and more. And the closer you'll be to your destination of peace, of complete total peace, eternal peace and happiness. I Nut Imasta. Greetings from Japan. Greetings to you. Chapmi, good afternoon. Pante, can I know what to do to help myself to continue to do meditation practice? My meditation practice stopped for almost a month. For last month, there are always a lot of ad hoc incidents happening. This made me can't find time to practice. Is this self-sabotage to not allow myself to proceed? You can only proceed only when you practice, and you have to start with mindfulness. You can practice mindfulness almost all day long. Anywhere you are, you can keep reciting the mantra. When you don't need to think about anything, keep reciting mantra, such as Bhutto, Bhutto, Bhutto. Do this first before you do formal sitting meditation. You can do excuse me, you can do informal meditation by reciting the mantra in all your postures. Whatever you do, whether you stand, sitting, walking, or lying down, keep reciting the mantra Bhutto, Bhutto when you have nothing to think about. This is a good way to start, because with mindfulness then you will be able to sit, and when you sit you will succeed easily and can remain in calm and peace for a long time. So you should start with mindfulness. From right now, after you finish this meeting, start reciting mantra Bhutto, Bhutto, Bhutto as you continue on with your daily activity. Then when you have time to sit, just close your eyes, sit and continue reciting the mantra. And I think you will begin to experience the result from your practice, which is calm, peace of mind. John Lim Chui In, good afternoon, Ajahn. Good afternoon to you. Chayam Lama Gurong Satu, Wang Hishin, Wang Huisin, Satu Satu, Liu Chai Hok Satu, Juliana U Satu, Lily Satu, Mudita Mudita, good morning Ajahn. May I ask about using Dhamma talk as a meditating object? When I listen to the Dhamma talk, should I just listen? Can I contemplate about what the teaching along? Yes, you can do both. You can do just listening to the sound of the Dhamma talk itself, without having to contemplate or reasoning what the talk is about. This will give you concentration or samadhi. If you contemplate or you reason along with the talk, you can get wisdom and peace and calmness also. Yes, if you cannot just do meditation alone by using a mantra or watching your breath, then you can start by listening to Dhamma talk first. And after you finish with the Dhamma talk, then maybe you can continue on with meditation, watching your breath or reciting the mantra. Because listening to Dhamma talk is the way of developing wisdom, developing mindfulness and wisdom. NGAD, Satu, Satu. Pattarapon Bosuk, Satu, Satu. Thank you. Today in Thailand it's quite strange. We have very cool weather, almost feel like December. in April. This is unusual. This is probably the first time in my lifetime to see April turn into the cool season, even though maybe for just a few days. But it's quite cool this morning. I don't know what happened to the earth, but something is telling us that it's not right, it's not correct. Kim H. Shore, Happy Sunday with Ajahn. According to Venerable Ajahn, the north-south path was not recommended and to be avoided for Jongam. Can Ajahn enlighten us? This is something we all ask and something we just cannot get an answer because Ajahn was already passed and gone, and the author who was Lungta Mahabur also passed away. And when he was alive, he never tell us why either. So we just take it as it is and try not to do this path. That's all. Chubmi, thank you, Pante, for your advice. Sadhu, sadhu. Asana, may I ask about exactly meaning the man who have only one night? How can we practice like this? I think the man who has only one night is the one who is awakened from sleep forever. See, after you sleep and after you become awake, you don't go back to sleep anymore. So that's what it means by a person having one night. Once you become fully enlightened, you become a person who had only one night because you don't go to sleep anymore. I mean, in the mental sense of the word sleep, which is delusion. You will no longer be in the state of delusion, which is like going to sleep. When you become enlightened, you are no longer in delusional. Veerapan Suvarnamai, Namaskar Prabhupada. Hello, Doctor. We hope you are well. Hope I'll see you tonight. Tonight we have Q&A in the Thai language at 8 p.m. on Facebook in a Thai Facebook page. Every Sunday night at 8 p.m. in Thai. If you can understand Thai, you can join us also at that time. Mudita, thank you so much, Ajahn. It's very clear. You're welcome. Adeline Chin, when a loved one dies, the mind soul leaves the body immediately. Yes, my aunt passed away yesterday and will be attesting a funeral. I know she's gone. How can I console my mom? Is there anything I should while I'm there? Just be around there. If you cannot tell her, if she doesn't understand, then there's no need to do anything. This is the result of her not studying the Dhamma teaching of the Buddha. Had she studied, then she would have no sadness. She would know what exactly is happening. But if she's sad, the only thing you can do is to be physically close to her and help her with whatever she needs. This is the consequence of not knowing the Dhamma teaching. If we understand, if we know the Dhamma teaching, we know that nobody dies. The body is just a combination of the four elements. It's like a tree. It doesn't know anything. It forms and then it dissolves. This is the work of nature. While the mind is just a knower, a thinker who happens to possess this body temporarily. When the body can no longer exist, then the mind disconnects from this body and go on looking for a new body. So really nobody dies. The mind who tells the body what to do, what to say, doesn't die with the body. New Vimalo with a red heart, thank you. JJ Tan, is it fine for us to scatter ashes of a loved one? Yes, you can do anything with ashes. It's like fertilizer. You can do anything with. You can put in a plant. Like the ashes of Nota Mahabo's mother, when she died, after her body was cremated, then the ashes were collected and then placed under on the ground of the Bodhi tree in honor of the Buddha and enlightenment. Chinese tradition requires us to put into columbarium and buy expensive space there to store the ashes permanently. Not in Thailand. Mostly people now in Thailand just scatter the ashes into the ocean or into the rivers. Adeline Chin, thank you, Tanajan. You're welcome. Ashes is just the earth element. There's no soul, no body in the earth element, in the ashes. The soul or the spirit disconnected from the body at the time of death, and is on the journey toward a new body. Today the weather in Thailand feels like December. It's supposed to be the hottest month of the year in Thailand, but it turned out to be the coolest of the year, which is very strange. In my lifetime, this is the first time I have experienced this kind of weather in April. It went down to about 19, 18 Celsius in eastern Thailand, but in the north it goes down even lower, which is very strange. Carmen CH, good afternoon, Ajahn. May you be well and happy. I am from Malaysia. I wish to ask some questions. Due to an argument, a family member chased out their own family member out of the house. It caused extreme anger and hatred after that. How to let go of this anger and hatred? Thank you. You have to understand a person can become very angry sometimes. And when he's angry, he can say and do anything. So you can look at it in the positive way that, yes, it's okay. We should be thankful that he only chased us out of the house. He didn't kill us or harm us or hurt us. If you think like this, then you can feel that you're still lucky. So because sometimes when a person is angry, he can do worse. He can kill someone. So if he didn't kill you, then you should be thankful and should be happy. And maybe you should look at it that maybe it's time to separate, to live separately, maybe for the better of both. Look in the positive light, and you can forgive that person. Or look at it as your own karma. We did some good and bad karma, and now we have to reap the consequence of our good and bad karma. That's all. But there's no need to react negatively or badly. We should always react positively, with kindness, with love, metta. Then our mind can remain serene and happy. JJ 10. Do we need to pay respect to the dead at the columbarium or is unnecessary. It's always nice to pay respect whether a person is alive or dead. Yes, we should pay respect, but we don't have to do any rituals or anything. Just show respect. The best way to show respect is to do good karma. According to the Buddha, the best way to pay respect to the Buddha is to practice the Dhamma teaching. Lam Choi Lin, dear Ajahn, how do we know we are young soul or old soul? The soul has no age, so there's no young soul or old soul. It's just a soul, eternal soul, lasting forever. So if you want to count the years, then we are probably all old soul, because we have been in this round of samsara for millions of lifetimes. J.B. Hugh, dear Pante, according to Theravada, when a person dies, it is immediately reborn. However, it is different in Mahayana. Is there a sutta that can clearly explain this? No, in Theravada, well, when it's being reborn, it doesn't mean reborn as a human being. See? As soon as you die, your mind is already something. It's either a deva or a ghost already, right away. So even now, you have a human body, but your mind might be a deva or might be the devil. So when there's no body, then you become a deva or devil automatically, right away. And then eventually you will then find a new body and you will take a reborn as a human being again. So birth has many levels, not just human level. Higher than human level are the devas. Lower are the ghosts and the hellish beings. So you are what you are right now. You might be a deva right now if you keep the precepts and you practice dana or charity. You become a Brahma if you practice meditation. You become a noble disciple when you practice vipassana. If you don't keep the precept, then your mind can be an animal or be a ghost, a hungry ghost, or being a a devil, hellish being. I don't know a sutta, but this is what you find out when you practice meditation. Mega Wati NGL Satu Satu Metta Lo Satu. Punami 10, good day Bhante, may you be well and happy. You're welcome. Michael Saw, Satu. Daniel, Satu. Punami 10, if someone close to me start avoiding me, what can I do? You cannot do anything, you just let it be. You cannot force someone to be close to you or to be far from you. It's up to them, it's not up to you. You feel uncomfortable or unhappy because you want them to be close to you. So when they avoid you, you feel bad, that's all. So just change your attitude toward them. Just don't expect anything from them. Let them do what they want to do. Then you will not feel uncomfortable or unhappy. And you don't need to find out the reason why. People change, they have different attitude, they change their attitude toward everything. Sometimes they like you, they want to be close to you. Sometimes they don't like you, so they don't want to be close to you. So just leave them alone. Try to live alone. Don't depend on other people's existence to make you happy. You can be happy without having anybody to make you happy if you know how to practice meditation. Chayam Kumari Kurom Satu Satu. Mona Lis Satu Satu. Our problem comes from our expectation or desire, expecting things from other people or things. When we don't get what we expect, then we become unhappy. If we don't expect anything, then we will never be unhappy. We will always be peaceful and happy. We can be happy by ourselves, be alone and be happy. Be alone and not be lonely. If you know how to calm your mind, if you know how to practice meditation, if you know how to develop mindfulness and wisdom. So try to practice mindfulness and wisdom, and you will always be happy. You will not have to rely on anybody to make you happy or to keep you happy anymore. Jacqueline Law, dear Ajahn, may you be well and happy. Thank you. May you too be well and happy. Sonade, good day, Ajahn. Is Appana Samadhi and Jhana the same? Yes, it's the fourth jhana. Appana Samadhi is beginning at the fourth jhana to the Arupa jhana. They are called Appana Samadhi, in which you remain still for a long, long time. The difference with the level is how still or how still the mind is. The higher you go, the stiller the mind becomes. But with the practice of samatha, you only need the fourth jhana. The fourth jhana is good enough for you to support the practice of vipassana. So you don't have to worry about the higher jhana, such as the arupa jhana. Once you get to the fourth jhana, and after you withdraw, you can then start to investigate the nature of things as being anicca, dukkha, anatta. You don't need to spend all the time to go up to the highest level of jhana. But if you can, if you want to, it's also okay. No problem. But if you can only get to the fourth jhana, that's good enough. Because all the jhanas have from the fourth jhana have upekkha as the quality of the mind. We need upekkha in order to investigate or study the true nature of things as being anicca, dukkha, anatta, as being asubha, not pretty, not good looking. Terence T.H. Lee, Hi Ajahn. Some people can remember details so well, while some are very forgetful. Is being forgetful the result of not having mindfulness? Thanks. I think so. Being not mindful can make you forgetful easily. But having this ability to remember is also a special ability of a person. Some people can recollect past lives. Some people cannot, even though they have mindfulness. So it's partially true that when you have mindfulness, you will not be forgetful, you will not be senile, you will not be having what you call Alzheimer's, for instance. You will be knowing all the time, know what the time is, know what to do if you have mindfulness. But you might not be able to recollect past lives. But some people have good memory. And having mindfulness and having good memory can make them recollect past lives. But if you have only mindfulness but without good memory, you might not be able to recollect past lives. Supha Barua, Pandami Pante, Satu Satu. Thank you. Terishi, dear Ajahn, if a person has the desire to want to go forth and his parent is getting old, but they have the permission for him to try out before he settles down in a monkhood. But his mind is fixated to go forth to practice in isolation. As this thought for renunciation has been good for years, or will it consider that he is abandoning his parents? If his parents are well enough to look after themselves or have somebody to look after them, then by going forth will not consider to be abandoning them, because you can always come and to their rescue or to their help whenever they need to. But if they are supported by someone else, then you can go and do whatever you want to do. But when they have no support, no one looking after them, then then you come back and help them, then this is not considered abandoning. You only go away because you know that they are not hurt by you going away, that they are being looked after by someone else for you. Then you can go away. But when you find that they need your support because no one else is looking after them, then you have to come back. Then this is not abandoning. Cindy Tan, Satu, Satu. Hanny Box. Dear Ajahn, if there is just one and most effective meditation method to practice till the end, what would it be? Thank you. Mindfulness and wisdom. This is the tool that you can use as your meditate or method of practice to stay mindful all the time, whether you're doing something or when you're not doing something. If you're doing something, be mindful of what you are doing all the time, which is your body. Keep watching what your body is doing all the time, and don't let your mind go think about other things. If you are brushing your teeth, just keep your mind with the brushing of the teeth. Don't let the mind go thinking about some other thing. And when you're not doing anything, when you sit down, then you can be mindful of your breathing. This is one method we call mindfulness of the body and mindfulness of breathing. This will get you to jhana, to peace of mind, but a temporary one. If you want a permanent one, then you need to develop vipassana by teaching the nature of things as being anicca, dukkha, anatta, so that you can then let go and let go of your attachment and expectation from them. Then your mind will become peaceful all the time. Swante, Satu, Satu. Terishi, Satu, and grateful. Thank you, Pante. Ui Bung Teng, Satu, Satu. Lily, Halim, Mega Yak, YG Baru. I'm sorry, I cannot read your language. Punami Tan, Pante, why can't we make up our mind when faced with many choices? Lack of mindfulness, lack of wisdom, really, to know which one is the right choice to take. So you have to study the teaching of the Buddha to find out what is the right choice to take. Shiva, dear Ajahn, am I not identified with anything or any concept? Is it no mind awareness? No, it's just no identification at all. The mind still exists. The mind still knows, the mind can still think, but the mind doesn't identify anything as being anything. Carmen CH, dear Ajahn, another question. I saw a city with luxurious lifestyle. Most people in the city there bring dogs to shopping mall and restaurant. What is the purpose of keeping pets? To accompany them, I guess. Pet can be a friend to you, be a company, and prevent you from being lonely. I think sometimes people cannot live alone, so they need something to keep them occupied. So they use pet if they cannot use people. If they cannot find people, then they use pet instead. That's why people have husband and wife, have children. If they cannot have husband or wife or children, sometimes they have pets. Or if they have husband and wife and they're still not happy, they might also have pets to keep them happy. Or maybe because out of compassion, they have pets because they find that the pet needs somebody to look after them. Shiva A, thank you. You're welcome. Aranut, good afternoon, Pajan. I still practice every day. This week I decluttered my house and donated many items. I used to be a shopaholic, but not anymore. Thank you very much for your teaching. You're welcome. Anuma Gelbua, Satu. Chukmi or Chakmi. Good afternoon, Ajahn. I have another question. There are a few people who were in charge of the job I am doing now. Since I took over the job, they started and tried to attack me as many times as they could to find fault to make me give up. What should I do to protect my mind and myself? Because I find I become more negative mind and not peaceful in my life during working hours. First of all, you must not be attached to your job and try to do your job as good as possible. If something happened and caused you to lose the job, then it's okay. Accept the fact. But ignore the attack by other people. You cannot stop them. But you can continue on working with a positive mind. Do your job as good as you can. But if it's not good enough, if you should lose your job, you are willing to let it happen. Then you can remain peaceful and calm and have a positive attitude toward everybody and everything. You cannot stop people from attacking you or your job. You cannot stop your boss from letting you go if he wanted to. But the only thing you can do is to do your best and then expect the worst. Then you can always be calm, peaceful, and happy. Chuck me, could Ajahn please advise? Yes, I just did. I hope this answer your question. Alvin Lee Wei Peng, greetings, Ajahn. Thanks for your profound teaching. Sadhu, sadhu. You're welcome. Ronnie Carlson, Sawadee, Ajahn. How come people in the time of the Buddha could get enlightened only by listening to him after one sermon, without doing any meditation? This is because they already have jhana. They already have ubekha or equanimity. See, when the Buddha first gave his teaching, he went directly to those who have meditation practices already. So they already have jhana. They already have equanimity. So there's no need to teach them meditation. What they needed was the four noble truths, the three characteristics of existence. So when they taught this truth to them, they can become enlightened right away. Is it also possible for us when listening to Dhamma talk? Yes, if you already have ubekha or equanimity. And then when you investigate the nature of things as being Anicca Dukkha Anatta. When you see that all your sufferings come from your own cravings, then you can become enlightened right away also. Yep to yep. Namaste Ajahn. Thank you for your Dhamma. Your Dhamma is really pure like Buddha teaching in Buddha Gautama era. Thank you. Cherishi, a compliment. Pante, the book My Way is beautiful, written and easy to read, and an inspiration. Sadhu, and thank you so much, Pante. You're welcome. We have a new book, a new My Way. This is the second version called Beyond Birth. If you like to have a copy, please indicate in the inbox. Then someone will then contact you and get your address and send you the book, or you can read it on my website prasuchart.com called Beyond Birth. Handy box. Ajahn, may I know what's the reason when I am doing meditation? At times my hands will fall into lotus prayer position and some movement by itself. Should I just flow with it or stop any movement? Grateful Ajahn teaching. It means your mindfulness is not strong enough yet. So you are not able to leave the body alone. But if you have stronger mindfulness, then you will leave the body alone and concentrate on your meditation object. So try to develop more mindfulness before you meditate. Try to be mindful all the time, from the time you get up to the time you go to sleep. Then when you meditate, your body will be left alone by the mind. Nipa Suprasad, Sadhu. I'm following you from Japan. Thank you. So Nade, dear Tanajan, during meditation, sometimes the breath would actually stop and bright white light would appear. What should I do next? Just merely know. Don't do anything. Don't react. Just be mindful. Just stay mindful, and just stay. Don't react to what you see. Just practice merely knowing. Is the light really actually kilesa? No, it's just a mental fabrication. That's all. If you react, then that can be kilesa. But if you don't react, then there's no kilesa. When you react with love or hate or fear, then this is kilesa. So don't react, just merely watch. Chapmi, thank you very much for your advice, Ajahn. You're welcome. Punani Tan, Pante, talking about keeping pets. Is it okay to buy and take good care of it? It just gives you more responsibility, more expenses for you. That's all. More burden, really. But if it makes you happy, who cares, right? I don't know. It's your personal choice. Since there is demand, the seller will bring more animals to sell. In this way, is it bad as this part of trading? You can look at it as good or bad also. You can look at it as compassion by giving shelter to animals. Animals, when they're born, sometimes they don't have shelter, have no people to look after them. So if you look after them, then this is considered to be compassion or loving kindness. Hemlata and Prajan, what is relationship between divinity and personal effort? Well, in Buddhism, there's no divinity. There's only personal effort. You get by your own action, by your karma. You reap the fruit of your own karma. No one can give you the fruit, the things that you receive. You receive them because of your own karma, your personal effort. No divine no divinity that gives you anything. What you get is the result of your own effort, your own karma. Victor Uy Ajahn, when chanting Buddha name for quite some time, the chest feel cooling, and the reason can still continue chanting. That's because your mind cool down, calms down. So you feel cool in the chest, but actually it's the mind that is cool, not the body. So you can continue on doing chanting. It's good for the mind and also good for the body. Sayak Olivia, Bonjour Tanajan, bonjour to you. Have you arrived back in Paris? Or are you still in Thailand? Okay, we have about 9 minutes left to the meeting. You can still send in more questions. We have about 9 minutes left. Sayak Olivia, can you explain the term karma? Karma means action of body, speech, and mind. When you think, this is mental karma. When you say something, this is verbal karma. When you act with your body, this is physical karma. But the real karma is the mental karma, the mind who thinks. Before you can say, before you can do anything with your body, you need to think first. Like if you want to get up, you have to think, I want to get up. Then you tell the body to get up. If you want to say something, you have to think first. Then you tell the mouth to say something. So the person who really do the action, the karma, is the mind, while the body and the mouth only follow the command of the mind. And the one who will receive the consequence of the karma is the mind. The consequence of karma is either happy or not happy. If you do good karma, you will feel happy. If you do bad karma, you will feel bad or feel sad. So Nade, thank you for the advice, Ajahn. You're welcome. Sayak Olivia, yes, I'm in France. Okay. I just answered your question. Is it okay? Good enough? If not, you can send in more questions. Christine Zhu, Namo Buddhaya Ajahn. No, thank you. Andy Lam, thank you. Frederick Fu, dear Ajahn, as a university student, I am regularly overwhelmed by kilesas as compared to my sati due to different stresses and studies. How would I be better to manage my expectations? Try to expect less, then you will be happy. You will become less stressful. Don't expect more than what you can get. Okay. Hope for the best, but expect the worst. And do the best you can. This is how you should deal with situation in life. Because life is impermanent, life is uncertain. You don't know what's going to happen tomorrow or the next minute or the next hour. So just take things as they come. Don't expect too much. expect whatever happens. Yeah, it's que sera sera. Whatever will be will be. Juliana super. Handy box. What's the best merit we could do and offer to our deceased loved ones? Any type of charity of your choice. The more you make them, the more merit you get. The charity is the way to go for sharing the merits of to the deceased. Tan Kim Fong, thank you for the Dhamma sharing, Ajahn. May you always be well and happy. Thank you. Teddy Augustine, Vandami Ajahn, Johanna thank you, Tan Ajahn, for your teaching. You're welcome. Sayak Olivier, can we say that karma is the sum of the life before? Yes, we are the consequences of our own karma. What we are is the product of what we did. Juliana Satu Satu. Adeline Chin, Satu Satu. We still have about 3 minutes left, so you can still send in your last question if you like. I'll be here until the time is up, which is in about 3 minutes time. It will be 1 hour live broadcast in our broadcast. K. Slim from Singapore. If I made a donation but my name is not listed, do I still get the merit? Yes. It's not the name that makes the merit, it's the sacrifice that you give that will give you the merit. Terence T.H. Lee, Hi Tanajan. If I'm constantly being irritated by someone's action and words, how do I overcome such feeling of irritation? By reciting the mantra Bhutto, 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 and forget the person or the incident that caused you the irritation. Just focus on reciting the mantra. After a while, you'll feel better. Is feeling of irritation the same as anger? Yes. Aversion or anger. And you can stop this by using mindfulness, by reciting a mantra Bhutto, Bhutto for a while. After a few minutes, you'll forget about the incidents or the person that caused you the irritation, and then the irritation will disappear. Handy box. Will burning paper stuff help? No, not at all. You might hurt the house. You might burn down the house. Grateful to Ajahn. May Ajahn be well and happy. So when you burn papers, you have to be very careful. But it doesn't do you any good in terms of the spiritual thing. It doesn't do anything for the deceased or anything like that. So no need to burn papers, only when you have to get rid of them. That's all. Kim Chua, Satu Satu, Carmen CH. Dear Ajahn, just now you mentioned about treat as own bad karma. It brings negative feeling more than positive feeling. Example, sadness and fear. How to manage this kind of negative emotion? By reciting a mantra. When you feel bad, you feel negative, just keep reciting the mantra Bhutto, Bhutto for a while, then you'll feel better. Or you can use wisdom and accept that whatever happens to you, this is something unavoidable. So you just have to learn to accept the truth. If you can accept the truth, then you won't have any bad feeling. Jana, Vandami, Ajahn from France, can you explain me how to control anger problem, please? By not expecting anything from anybody. If you expect something and when you don't get something, then you can become angry. So try to lessen your expectation or eliminate your expectation completely, then you will have no anger. Just take things as they come. Expect the worst or expect the worst. Then when you get more than what you expected, then you will feel happy. Expect the worst. And when you get the worst, then you can also be happy because that's what you expect. When you expect something and you get it, then you can feel happy. So when you expect the worst, you will never be angry at anybody or anything. Punyamitan, Pante, my late father passed on 20 years ago. Do you think he will receive the merit since we do not know which realm he goes? It depends. If he wants to receive your merit, he will come and let you know. If he doesn't come, then it's probably he doesn't need your merit anymore. Sayak Olivia, does this meeting each Sunday? Yes, every Sunday at this time for 1 hour, which started about an hour ago. More or less, the time might not be fixed. Sometimes it might be half an hour later or half an hour earlier. But I'll try to do this at about the same time every Sunday morning. Okay? All right, thank you very much for all of your participation. I hope this meeting can help you advance in your practice. And in the meantime, please stay safe, stay mindful, and keep on practicing the teaching of the Buddha. And if all goes well, I'll see you again next week at the same time. Thank you and goodbye.